I value a lot of things in my life, but if there's one thing that I can value more than money, it would be happiness. But what is happiness? In this video, I'm going to give you guys a quiz that will determine if you are happy. And I learned this trick from a little book called the Cashflow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. Also in this quiz, if you determine that you are not happy, I also give you tips on how to become happy. But before I do start the video, one thing that would make me happy is if you guys went ahead and subscribed, and also right after that, hit the notification bell, because here on the Austin Hustle channel, we do post daily, and I don't want you guys to miss a video. So, before I give you guys the quiz, there's something I must present to you, and it's called the Cashflow Quadrant. And these are all ideas by Robert Kiyosaki, but a lot of this is going to be new for a number of you guys, so just follow along here as best you can. So, here we have the Cashflow Quadrant. In the upper left-hand corner, we have the E quadrant. This is for employees. Right under that, in the bottom left corner, we have the S quadrant. That is for self-employed or small business owner. In the top right, we have B. This is for big business owner. And then under that, in the bottom right, we have I, and that is for investor. So when I first read the book Cashflow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki, it really opened my mind because it showed me that I can break down people and where their sources of income are from. The E quadrant is for employees, and those are people whose only source of income is from their 9-to-5 job. Right under that, we have the S quadrant, which is for self-employed or small business owner. This can be anyone like an entrepreneur or a small business owner who employs less than 50 people. B is for big business owner. So basically 50 or more employees. And then the I is for investor, people whose main source of income is from investments. So myself personally, I'm trying to work from the S quadrant all the way to the B quadrant. But the main difference between all of these categories are taxes. The S quadrant gets taxed the most due to self-employment tax. E gets taxed a little bit less. B can get their taxes a lot lower than S, and I can get their taxes all the way down to 0. If you want to learn more about that, then I highly recommend picking up the Cashflow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki, but that's basically the whole gist of the said quadrant. So why do we need to know about the quadrant for a happiness quiz? I'm going to get right into that. So what I first want you guys to do is write down the Cashflow Quadrant. Write E in the top left, S in the bottom left, B in the top right, and I in the bottom right. From there, I want you to place your name in which of the quadrants you've received the most income from. Obviously, if you're an average teenager in high school, you would probably place in the E quadrant as an employee. If you were the owner of a local pizza shop, then you would obviously place yourself in the S quadrant as a small business owner. If you were Bill Gates, you'd place yourself in the B quadrant as business owner. And if you were Warren Buffett, you'd place yourself in the I quadrant as an investor. So now that you have your own name down in the quadrant that corresponds to you, I want you to write down 6 names of the people that you spend the most time with. Go ahead and jot those down right now. Now that you guys have the 6 names of the people you spend the most time with, right next to their names, I want you guys to write down the letter of the cash flow quadrant, which the majority of their income comes from. So again, say the person that you spend the most time with owns a local pizza shop. So you write an S next to his name. And keep in mind, people don't only have to be in one quadrant. They can be a small business owner, and they can also work for a bigger company. But go ahead and write down the letter next to all of your 6 people. Once you have the letters written down, I want you guys to place their names inside of the cash flow quadrant based on what letter they are. So, again, the small business owner, write him down in the S quadrant. And in the book, it actually makes a point that when Robert asked people to do this experiment, they actually got quite offended, and that's kind of how I felt when I first did this. But don't be offended, this whole experiment is just to visualize things. So when you're finished, your paper should look a little something like this, with basically you got your 6 names, you got your quadrants, you wrote yourself in the quadrant, and you wrote your friends in the quadrants that correspond to them. In my example, I used fake names, but basically what happened is I had 4 people in the S quadrant with me, and then I had 1 person in the E quadrant and 1 person in the B quadrant. Robert says that if the majority of the people that you spend the most time with are in the same quadrant as you, then in general, you will be happier because you are surrounded by like-minded individuals. If the majority of the people that you spend the most time with are not in the same quadrant as you, then chances are you aren't going to be as happy. There is a little bit of truth when I say that the people you surround yourself with are examples for you to become. So if you surround yourself with a bunch of employees, chances are you're going to become an employee. If you surround yourself with a bunch of small business owners, chances are you would want to become a small business owner. And this is where my eyes really opened up, because when I first did this quiz, I was in the S quadrant, but nobody in the top 6 lists that I had was in the S quadrant with me. And I can say that I wasn't happy. I was trying to be in the S quadrant, trying to move on to the B quadrant, but everyone that I surrounded myself with wanted to stay in the E quadrant. And it's no offense to them. Everybody lives their own lives, everyone has their own goals, but for me, I wanted something bigger. So pretty much what I did is I cut down the time I spent with the people in the E quadrant, and I searched for more people in the S quadrant and some people in the B quadrant, because that's where I wanted to end up. So if you want to be happier, you have to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. There was a bit of a problem for me, however. As a 16-year-old entrepreneur in high school, there weren't a lot of other students that thought the same as me. So what I did instead was searched online. I went onto YouTube, I found like-minded individuals, I went into Facebook groups, I sparked up some conversation there, and eventually I surrounded myself with more small business owners, more self-employed people, and a few big business owners that would shape me into who I am at the moment. So if you want to achieve a goal in life, you have to surround yourself with the people who have achieved that goal or are working towards it currently. And this segues perfectly into my next topic, which is basically if you're a small creator or a rising entrepreneur, I have a Facebook group where we can all connect and network. So I created a Facebook group called the Hustlers Hub, where basically we can surround ourselves with other like-minded individuals. So if you're in the E quadrant and you want to surround yourself with more people that are in the S and working towards the B quadrant, go ahead and join the Facebook group. I'll have a link down in the description. And remember guys, happiness is key, so surround yourself with people who will nurture you and guide you into achieving your goals. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, hopefully you gained some insight on your life and changed things up. If you don't like it, go ahead and subscribe right down here to the left of me. I got some of my older videos. I'm pretty sure you guys would appreciate them, so go ahead and check them out. But anyway, this has been Austin Hustles, and I'm out.